Hi, this is Chris from the Compulsive Canadian Gamer. Here today with an unboxing for the HTC Vive. This is sort of the beginning of a shift in content for this channel. So far it's been mostly unboxing toys and stuff like that, but this is the Canadian Gamer after all. So we are going to be taking a new, bit of a new focus on that's going to be around VR. I'll be doing video game reviews for virtual reality, both from Oculus and from the Vive. As well as some content for Gear VR. You can expect a lot of new content coming up in the upcoming weeks. Once I get this guy set up, then we are going to be trying to be doing a review a couple times a week. There's also a new website I've got up and running. You can actually come check me out at thecompulsivecanadiangamer.com, as well as the Facebook channel that we've got. Anyways, so today we're doing the HTC Vive, something that's been pretty sought after. Launch day was on Tuesday, and here we sit on Wednesday, and it's in my hands. I know a lot of people around the world haven't got them yet, unfortunately. There's been a lot of little snafus with shipping and whatnot, but my other VR fans out there, hopefully you'll be getting yours soon. In the meantime, let's crack this open and see. Box, as you can tell, is gigantic. Wasn't really expecting this. You know, from the stuff that I read online, I thought it was going to be significantly smaller. That is not the case, obviously. Box comes in about 20 pounds. Let's crack this open here. They were shipped out overnight from FedEx, so this was not too bad. Came relatively quickly. It actually shipped yesterday morning. So it got here really, really fast. It was picked up by FedEx at about noon yesterday, and it was in my hands by 3 o'clock today. Set that aside. Get your packing slip and stuff. There's no pack-ins in here for games or anything. You do get a couple of games when you buy the Vive. Fantastic contraption, tilt brush, and job simulator. Those are coming via a code that will get emailed to you in the next, I don't know, I'd say next day or so, but I actually got mine today. It arrived about 24 hours after the shipping took place, and that seems to be pretty much par from the course from what I've been seeing on Reddit. A lot of people that put their orders in, they're not getting their codes immediately. A lot of people are kind of wondering if their credit cards have been charged and stuff like that, but they don't have their games yet. So in all fairness, they don't have their Vives either, so you don't really need it. Would have been nice that I could have done preload, but unfortunately it came in, you know, middle of the day today, and I just haven't had an opportunity to get to my computer since the codes came in. All right, so as I mentioned, this is 20 pounds. This is actually, you know, pretty heavy. You can really feel the weight. Very well packaged. I don't know if you guys saw, we've got sort of the heavy dense styrofoam here to ensure that this thing isn't getting beat up in transit. All right, waiting for this for 20 years. All right, as soon as you crack it open, you've kind of got instructions here for setting up your room scale. Same with your seated area and stuff like that. This is all available online as well. I've seen this exact sort of pack-in online, so if you kind of want to get a jump on what your room's going to look like and stuff like that, you can download this from HTC's site. Alright, so from what I've seen, you know, there's a lot of stuff packed in here. I'm probably not going to pull it all out, especially the cables and stuff like that. It doesn't make sense to unpack it because I've got to take it downstairs anyways. First up, the Vive controllers. Pretty decent weight to them. I'd say, you know, probably about quarter pound each. Heavier than a Wiimote, look at it that way. So, you know, even a Wiimote, probably the combined weight of a Wiimote and nunchuck together. All these little dimples on here are spots that allow the lighthouses to track the device. Pretty comfortable. The grips are, it's sort of a corrugated or textured plastic on the back, so it kind of has that anti-slip feel to it. They are both identical. They have the same, you know, sort of couple of buttons on the bottom. You've got the circle pad. Both have a home button, and oops, and I just turned them both on. And both have a menu button. So other than that, there's no other buttons on here. Oh, I lied. Actually, these two guys here are buttons as well. They come with wrist straps. Highly recommend using the wrist straps. We've already had some stuff online where people have chucked their remote out of their hand. I'm not surprised because if you can see here, they are tapered, so they get skinnier towards the base of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if you know, you're going to lose grip on this fairly easily. So definitely, if you have other electronics in the room that you're going to be doing this with, you're going to want to make sure that you're protected. All right, next up, these are the little lighthouses. For those that don't know, these actually go in opposing corners of your play space. So you need to have about, these can't go more than about 15 feet apart. Minimum play space you should be looking at is about 2 meters by 2 meters, so a little over 6 feet by 6 feet. That's one of the things that sort of sets Vive apart from Oculus right now is the lighthouses allow you to do room scale virtual reality, which is essentially a standing experience where you can, you know, move around in a 3D environment in that, you know, play area, and you'll get that sensation within the game. Alright, so now under these guys, this is the stuff I'm not really going to bother taking out right now. These are the mounting brackets. I will show you these because there have been a colossal amount of questions about this on Reddit. What do they look like? How do they attach to the wall? What can I do with them? So I'll bring this over, show you guys close up. So this right here is your mounting bracket. You just kind of got the screw on here. This screws into the bottom of your lighthouse, and then this can attach to the wall with 2 screws. If you're living in an apartment or something like that, don't want to have to screw it in. You know, there's a lot of different kinds of adhesive tape that'll work on here. It does come with all the screws necessary and a couple of wall plugs as well. The rest of the stuff in here is just your wires and your chargers. You know, the lighthouses themselves, just so that you are aware, do need to be plugged in. They have to have a power source. They do not plug into your computer, however. So you just plug them into the power, and they connect to a link box via Bluetooth. So you don't really have to worry about you don't have to worry about trying to find a way to get that connected back to your PC. All right, so I'm gonna put him back. We'll put these little guys in here. All right, and this is just more cables. You've got more power connectors. This is just your standard, you know, two-prong plug to USB on the other side. So nothing too fancy there. A couple of mini USB cables. Both of these controllers, they do need to be charged. There is no removable battery in them per se. They charge just off of the mini USB on the bottom. All right, right here we have your link box. Now, this is sort of not the brains of the unit, but this allows you to connect to your PC. Got out. Bring this around as well. So you plug your HTC Vive into your link box. You got 3 connectors on here: one for HDMI, one for USB, and one for power. And then on the back side, you have HDMI, DisplayPort, and USB. So this is sort of your power in and your power out on the other side. So you do have to wire that in. There's been a lot of talk about what kind of cables or how long can the cables be that go to this box. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of information that goes along with that. So one of the very first things that I'm going to be testing out, and I will be making a secondary video to this that you can probably tune in for tomorrow, and it is going to be the hookup of the Vive. I've got a home theater, and it's kind of a unique environment, so I figure you guys might be interested in how to set this up. in an environment that isn't necessarily conducive to virtual reality, especially room scale. So that will be coming up. You can see that within 24 hours of this video airing. And hopefully that'll answer some questions. I will be doing, I've got long cables that will be hooked up to the to Linkbox. Sincerely hoping that they work. As I say, you know, like there's really no information onto whether or not, you know, like can I only use a 3-foot HDMI cable and USB cable, or can I use, you know, active USB cables and that sort of stuff. So we're about to find out. That information, like I say, will be coming out tomorrow. Alright, and last but not least, the head-mounted display. So you've got a thick rope of cables coming out the back. This is one of the sort of the maybe detractors to VR right now. Unfortunately, outside of the Gear VR, we don't have a lot of experiences that aren't wired. They're working on it. It's something that's going to be coming in the future. Unfortunately, right now, that's just not the case. So you're going to have to wire this in to that link box, and then your link box to your PC. This cable is 15 feet long, or 16 feet, 0.1 I believe it is. So that gives you a fairly substantial range of movement around the room, but you are going to have to plan accordingly. And I hear that the cable can kind of be a little bit of a detractor when you're moving around in room scale, because you're going to be stepping on it, you might get tangled up in it and stuff. I'll give a whole lot more detail on that once I actually get this tested. I've never actually tried the HTC Vive, I should have mentioned that earlier, but I've never actually strapped one of these to my head. I had an Oculus DK back in the day, but I haven't tried anything to do with Vive. So there's a lot of features on here that I'm going to cover during the room setup once I kind of figure out the device. I just don't want to speak out of turn here and tell you guys something that's, you know, not necessarily true. There are a lot of adjustments that can be made. You know, the head strap moves forward and backwards. There's adjustments for IPD for depending on the size, depending on the distance between your eyes. So there's a lot of just settings on the headset itself. It has a whole bunch of sensors, all the same little diodes around the base of it that the controllers have, and that's how the Lighthouses track the headgear. So it knows what position that you're looking and what direction that you're looking, up, down, whatever. From my understanding, the Lighthouses only need to see 3 of those at any given time. So really, that's sort of how it works. So if you know, turn your head to this side and it's only catching, you know, a couple over here, that's perfectly fine. That's just sort of where VR is at right now. You know, like there's no internal mechanism in here saying, you know, I'm looking down, I'm looking up. It's actually being, you know, positionally tracked through the Lighthouses. And that's pretty much it. Headset, or the strap seems, you know, it's almost made what feels like neoprene, almost like what a wetsuit would be made out of. Seems fairly rugged, fairly well made. You know, compared to the DK2 that I had, you can definitely tell that this is a consumer product. You know, VR was kind of in its infancy up until recently. So something like this is pretty substantial leap in the last couple of years. You know, Vive came on the scene about 2 years ago, and they've kind of come on like gangbusters. They're the only guys that are doing room scale right now, and they're stealing some of Oculus's thunder right now, especially with the Oculus blundering on their Rift launch, unfortunately. So. But that is about it for this unboxing. I'm not going to go, like I say, too in-depth on any of the features and stuff. That will be coming in supplemental videos. I will be doing a review after I do the setup. So setup video tomorrow, and then the review the day after. So by then I should have spent a substantial amount of time in VR already. Some positive things to note: if you are like super pumped for getting this and want to sort of jump the gun, you can go to Steam. I have noticed that just about all of their VR titles, all the big, you know, I don't want to say AAA because there's no AAA titles coming out at launch, but any of the big titles, anywhere between 10 to 25% off right now. So you can save yourself a little bit of money, not a whole hell of a lot. As it stands, there's 96 games available on the Steam store right now. So check it out, trailers for everything. There are a lot of demos. I picked up 16 games yesterday and 11 demos. They're all downloaded and ready to go. So I'm going to go set this up now, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.